Yo, what is good, YouTube? In today's video, I got y'all the new top 5 overpowered loadouts you guys should be using. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. For our first gun up here today, we're going to be taking a look at the FJX Imperium, which is actually a really solid sniper rifle that you guys can use on big map, on resurgence. It really doesn't matter. You guys are gonna have a blast using this great one-shot headshot distance. It is honestly a really underrated and frankly kind of overpowered sniper rifle. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go here to the muzzle section and we're gonna go find a actual suppressor. So I'm gonna go to the suppression section. We're gonna go on the way down here and I'm just gonna choose the VT7 Spiritfire suppressor. Technically, a bunch of these in here do the exact same thing, just because when they did the BO6 Warzone integration, they dumbed a lot of these attachments down because obviously we got 12 different suppressors in here and BO6 guns have 2. So honestly, all these are going to do the same thing. You can basically choose whatever you want. So I'm just going to choose the VT7 and we're going to move on from there. Get help unlocking Dark Matter, Abyss, and Nebula camos in Black Ops 6 with Mitch Cactus. They're absolutely the biggest and most reliable in Call of Duty right now. Whether you want something across multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone, they're completely legitimate for all platforms. They're super trusted by the community, and you may have seen them all over YouTube, and that's for good reason. They'll unlock all your camos, augments, and more without needing to lift a finger. With over 17,000 reviews and thousands of personalized vouchers, they're the go-to for all things in Call of Duty. Use code CHUCK at checkout for 5% off. After that, we're gonna go to the barrel section and we're gonna throw on the Fahrenheit 29 barrel. Out of all these in here, this will by far be the best one overall in terms of like what you're gonna get out of it damage range wise. I'll just go and select it here. So actually to show it up to 83 meters right there. You can see 83.3 right here, but also we have a 4% less bullet velocity, which is not something we want. We really don't care about getting a little bit extra mobility out of it. We'd rather just have the absolute maximum damage, as that is what you're truly using this for. It's not like it's a Kar 98 where it's going to be very fast. It is a true sniper rifle and you can be aggressive with it, but overall you're trying to get maximum damage range distance out of it, and this is going to help us with that. After that, we're going to go on back in here to the stock section, and what we're going to do is we're going to throw in the FJX Helo Tac. And this right here, unfortunately, it does mess with your flinch resistance. So if you don't want to have anything that will mess with that, then you're gonna have to choose a little bit of something else. But overall, this is really good for just kind of speeding up the sniper, making it just a little bit more agile and mobile. I like this. I haven't personally found any issues with it, so you guys can definitely use something else if you really want to. But overall, I like this attachment. Laser section, we're gonna go in here and throw on the Kimura RYL33 laser light. This is of course gonna speed us up here once again, because honestly, unless you want to customize the scope, you're gonna have some extra attachments laying around, and the base scope on this thing is really solid. You don't have to mess with it at all. I mean, even on like, you know, the Kar 98, you actually have to use either the SPX or what is it? Basically the default one that the Kar 98 had in Warzone 1. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but this right here, you don't have to change anything at all. So we're just going to go with the laser light and speed ourselves up. Lastly, we're going to go to the ammunition tab, and what we are going to do is throw on the 0.408 high velocity rounds, and this is going to boost up our bullet velocity here quite substantially to 1358 meters a second, which is awesome. You guys can see your damage at effective range down there is 83.3 meters. Almost a 1400 meter per second bullet velocity. I mean, honestly, you're going to be beaming people here. This is a really nice sniper to use, and honestly, more people should be using it. It's nice because it's an MW2 gun, not like exclusively a BO6 gun. So this right here is my full build. Next up here in today's top 5, I want to give you guys a build here for my LC10. This is the build that I pretty much have stuck with here for the last little bit now, and I've been using it quite a bit in my gameplay based videos. So let's actually show you guys here how to build this thing out. First thing, barrel, we're just gonna throw in the long barrel. I did try to use the reinforced a little bit. Honestly, not that big of a fan. I prefer the long barrel. I think it just is more effective. Also, I prefer the iron sights of the long barrel more than the reinforced, as they do actually change between the two of them. So I just prefer the long barrel. You guys should go ahead and do that and you'll be good to go. Under barrel section, we're going to use the Ranger foregrip. The reason we're not using the vertical or even, for instance, the G grip, which I know some people like using, is that the LC10 has almost no recoil. It is like a very casual recoil based gun. I don't even know if you can call recoil casual, but it almost has like nothing. Like even the most casual of players can control the LC10. So I guess that maybe that's why I'm calling it that, but it's just so simple that we'd rather just have a little bit of recoil control and get that sprinting movement speed, as opposed to some of the other stuff down here. It doesn't need any more stabilization and stuff like that. Magazine, I'm going down here and running extended mag 2. I was a big proponent of extended mag 1. I started playing around again with extended mag 2, getting a bit more used to it, and honestly, I do feel really solid using it again. So this is going to be my go-to attachment. You guys can run extended mag 1 if that's what you truly feel comfortable with. If for the magazine, this kind of matters a little bit more, and you know, do you feel comfortable with extended mag 1 versus 2? I feel better with extended mag 2 right now, so that's what I'm using. Rear grip, we're gonna go in here, throw on that ergonomic grip. This is what I always classify as the absolute best thing to use as a rear grip for an SMG. There's no real reason to use any of these other ones. Honestly, like you can even go and, you know, compare them in the detailed statistics and stuff like that. When you select ergonomic versus, you know, you go down here and you check out any of these other ones, it's not going to do any better to run a different one. So you just want to go for the ergonomic grip. Lastly, in the stock section, two really great options in here. Obviously, I'm not running the no stock, though that is technically an option. I'd say that's like option number 3. I always go for the infiltrator right now. I really like that aim walking movement speed. I think when I'm ADSing and I'm moving back and forth, it makes me a harder target to hit because I'm always strafing. I'm always moving. I'm not ever just like posted up, standing still using an SMG. Sometimes with an AR, you know, you're picking somebody out from a distance. You're not moving around a whole lot. That's totally different. With an SMG, you are going to be moving. Obviously, you're not corner camping. Don't do that if you are one of those people. Try not to corner camp. So the infiltrator is the move, or you can go for the balanced stock. That's going to be that. But I'm going for the infiltrator as I think this just makes me a harder target to hit, and I like it. So that right there is my full LC10 build. At the number 3 slot, we're going to be taking a look here at the Grau 556. I'm calling this the Grau. It's not the SWAT. I've had people actually ask me, why does my Grau only fire in 3-round bursts? Well, if you don't have the fire mod on here for the SWAT 556 Grau conversion, this will be the SWAT as a 3-round burst. So you 110% need this. Just some people have asked me, I think they're newer players to Warzone, so don't fry them too much. But this right here is, of course, the first attachment because you need it. So after that, we're going to go in here to the magazine section, and we're just going to throw on the full auto extended mag, as that is our only option. Now we're going to go to the rear grip section, and we're just going to go ahead and throw on like the commando grip. This right here, you can run like pretty much any of these grips here that just make you a little bit faster. Either this, or you can go and run an optic of your choice. I know that iron sights are great, so you can definitely run an optic. That would be, you know, something that is definitely doable. I've done it before. It actually hits like a truck, so you can do that, or you can be a little bit faster on your ADS, up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for this build. After that, underbarrel section, pretty simple. Vertical foregrip. There's nothing else really in here that's going to be better. Obviously, we're not using any of this BS, or especially the crossbow. We're going to use the vertical foregrip because we're trying to actually be good, you know, with our build. And lastly, we're going here to the muzzle section, and there is really 2 options in here that I recommend, both of them being at the bottom here. So first one being the mono suppressor, if you guys don't mind a little bit of that recoil that the Grau will have. And the mono suppressor is going to be great, extending out your overall range, bullet velocity, all that sort of fun stuff. You can see your bullet velocity is going to be pretty cracked out at 1277, so that's pretty nice. And of course, your damage and effective range at 47.5. Then the other thing I'd like to recommend is the ported compensator, which is honestly a really, really good option. I like the ported compensator quite a bit, like especially if you're playing like Rebirth, something like that. You don't necessarily need the extra bullet velocity, like you can get away with having just over 1,000. Whereas maybe big map, you kind of want something a little bit that's going to hit faster at, you know, long distance. So between these two, choose whatever you feel comfortable with. You really can't go wrong with either or, honestly. So just go for one of these, and that's really going to be that. That's my my full Grau build. In our number 4 slot in this top 5, I want to give you guys a build here for the MX9. This is an SMG, an MW2 SMG that is really, really solid, and I need to see more people using it because it really is up there in the meta. Obviously, you got your LC10, your Ladra, stuff like that, but with this gun right here, you're going to be frying, and a lot of people have it leveled up because it's an MW2 gun. So this is really good. So for our first attachment, though, the iron sights aren't that great. We're going to go here and use a red dot. So you guys can use the slate reflector. My personal preference and choice is going to be down here a little closer to the bottom. I like going for the NIDAR model 2023. This is one of my favorite red dots for all the MW2-3 guns to use. So I like this. Obviously, we're not going to be using something like a Jack Glassless. That's going to slow down our ADS. It also is not anywhere close to as good as it was in MW3 Warzone. So the NIDAR model 2023 is going to be the move. After that, we're going to go into the barrel section. And what we're going to do is we are going to run the 16.5 Bruin S901. This is going to increase our damage range, hipfire accuracy, movement speed, and firing aiming stability. We have other barrels in here like the rear guard, which will help us, but of course it does slow down our ADS speed, which is not something we want. Unfortunately, all the MW2 and 3 guns have cons for their attachments. I really wish that wasn't the case. Wish they would have actually fixed that a little bit, or maybe removed them or significantly lessened them, but they didn't do that. So we're gonna go for the S901, as this won't really affect us too much and it'll still give us all the benefits we want. After that magazine, we're gonna go throw on the extended mag. This is one of the big gripes this gun had a while ago, which was it had a terrible mag. So the TTK and stuff wasn't bad, and it was essentially like a solo exclusive gun because it had 32 rounds. So obviously ever since they made it so it has 50, now it's like it's awesome and we can actually use it. And that's been pretty good for a while, but they did buff it in, like, was it season 3, 4, whatever it was, one of the updates where it got a lot better. Now in the rear grip section, what we want to do is going to throw on the Bruin Q900 grip. This is just going to speed us up. Obviously that barrel slowed us down just a little bit, but this will help us out here, making us more effective at just close range. And honestly, you will feel very, very snappy running this gun. And then lastly, in the comb section, I want to go in here and run the F-Tac C11 riser. This will help us with our sprint to fire speed and our ADS speed. I really wish you didn't mess with our aim blocking speed much, but that's not too big of an issue. This actually is going to be just the best overall attachment to run on the MX-9. This right here is my full build. Last but not least, here in today's top 5, we're going to be using the Krig C. So this is pretty much like my go-to AR right now, especially for Rebirth Island. I switch between this, the FFAR, maybe the Kilo, but overall, you're really not going to go wrong running the Krig. So optic section, we're going to go in here and throw on the Merlin Mini. This is a really good one, or the Volzinski, or the Volzinski reflex. My bad, I started stumbling over my words. But the Merlin Mini or Volzinski is going to be great. You can also go down here, and I will say, and run, well, kind of any of these other red dots if you really want to. A personal preference at that point. But the maximum I would suggest is maybe the Jason Armory and the Willis 3 times as the maximum magnification optic you need to go. Anything else past this is not really going to be good. Just go for the Willis or the Jason and then kind of on up, and then you guys will be taken care of in terms of like what is going to be a good optic for the Krig. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to go back here and throw on the Merlin Mini, as I was using this and I like it a lot. I kind of go back and forth between this reflex and the Mini, and that's really about that. And of course, I'll go in here to the reticle section and I'll choose the blue dot because I like the blue dot over the red dot. I don't really mess with any of these other ones down here. I just go for the blue dot. Back to the attachments and the muzzle section. I see people kind of mess with a couple different things here. One being the compensator, which is going to be my recommendation and what I actually use on my build. I know the mono suppressor is really good and it is something that is definitely beneficial to run, but I like the recoil control benefits of the compensator more, and I feel like I generally speaking hit more shots using the compensator versus the mono suppressor. So for me, the compensator ends up being more effective because I'm just more accurate. So I like to go for that. Barrel section, what you want to do is just run the gain twist. It doesn't matter if you're playing big map. It doesn't matter if you're playing Rebirth Island. Just go ahead and run the gain twist. Some people like to use the reinforced barrel, which is definitely acceptable considering it gets you out to over 1,000 meters a second, and you can definitely do that. But overall, I think the gain twist is better at 1218, and you can see your damage at effective range is still 44.4, which is great. So you really can't go wrong right there. Maybe if you were using something different, like maybe an 8 attachment build, maybe you throw on that, maybe you throw on the overpressured round, something else like that, whatever they're called. And maybe you could have a little bit extra bullet velocity, but overall, I think the gain twist is the move, especially for a 5 attachment build. I don't ever go for 8 attachment builds because I like having 2 loadout guns on 1 loadout. I don't want to go buy 2 loadouts to get 2 different 8 attachment guns, especially playing Rebirth or something like that. When I die, I really don't want to go ahead and run, have to buy 2 loadouts again. That's just kind of bad. So after that, vertical foregrip here is going to be the move. I've tried the G grip. It's honestly not bad, but I don't think it's particularly like better. It's not like it stands out where I'm like, oh, hey, I have to use the G grip over the vertical foregrip. It's just another option. So I'd say the vertical is the move. And of course, last but not least, we're running extended mag 2 because this gives us 70 rounds in the mag. And honestly, the reload speed is very, very fast. So 110% run this, you guys will be taken care of. And that's my full Krig build. That's my top 5. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.